They've beaten 5 teams in the top 50 in the RPI. They don't turn the ball over, which we rely on a lot to get some offense from our defense. Duop is one of the most improved inside-out players in the league. They're 11th in the country in two-point field goal percentage at 58%. And our fans are going to get treated to Tremont Waters. You know, he is a dynamic point guard that really has helped make that team go. It'll be a great matchup between our guards, all of our guards, Jared, Davion, Bryce. The guys are going to be primary covers for him because he's such a great scorer, leads our league in assists, ranks in steals, and just a terrific player. Will Wade is the new coach there. I actually, when I was out of coaching and living in Knoxville, I actually went up to see Will. And actually, when I got the job at Auburn, I went up to spend, when I was in my show cause period and I was trying to get back into the game, I went up and visited with him and watched his team practice for a couple days. He was gracious enough to let me do that. And you might say, well, Coach, you're at Tennessee, you're now at Auburn, what are you doing going on UT Chattanooga practice? That's because Will Wade, I knew from watching his teams play that he was a brilliant young coach. And he went on and did a great job at Chattanooga, VCU, and now he's got things turned around at LSU. So we got to get excited about playing these guys and keep getting better.
Bruce, when you have 9 50-point halves this season and 8 are in the second half, and this is now 5 in SEC play, how much of this is what you would attribute to halftime adjustments from both ends, offensively, defensively, execution, et cetera, and just how much of it is basically by design, and how much of this is just a kind of bizarre that it's always happening in the second half?
I'll give you a reason, and it's I think there is a reason. I think it's these kids. I think it's their will to win. I think it's their resiliency. I think it's their not wasting possessions and opportunities to make plays. I mean, that's been one of our biggest themes is we just can't sit back and hope they miss. We have got to force the action. We just can't sit back and hope Bryce knocks a shot down or Mustafa gets to the foul line or Jared bails us out. We got to make plays. I think that's part of the reason. The biggest reason is, with the exception of a couple of guys, we share the minutes. And so we're not, you know, Chuma Kiki and Deshaun Murray are both playing power forward. They may play 20 minutes each. They're playing against a guy most nights that's playing 30. And so if there's an opportunity for there to be fatigue, be a factor with the way we play too, as aggressively as we play and as much as we extend defensively. I think teams are tired when they get done playing us because we play with effort and energy and we share the minutes. That's a big reason why we've been able to do well in the second half.
Are you happy with the tempo in the first half of games, though? Because it seems like in a couple of these games as of late, even last night, not just shots weren't falling, that was happening for both teams, but it seemed like you allow, especially on the road, teams to dictate tempo to you more in the first half than you do certainly at home or in the second half.
It's hard to dictate tempo. When teams want to be patient and control the basketball, they can. I mean, look, we turned Missouri over 10 times in the first half, 20 for the game. So we certainly weren't trying to let them dictate tempo. I think early in games, teams are fresh and furious. They're well scouted, and it's hard to score. It's just hard to score early. I mean, I don't know. I haven't studied it like, you know, let's just take, I'm a big New England Patriots fan. I think there's a direct correlation between Tom Brady's fourth quarter success and the fact that that defensive unit is tired, more tired than they are early. They're fresh and furious early. Not that the Patriots don't score early, but they always score late. And so it's hard to score against when all 5 guys are back and a team is not fatigued. So I think that's the reason.
Defensively, how impressed were you with last night, especially interior-wise? Because to hold Porter and Tillman to 5 combined points and hold Tillman scoreless. That's not something you could have expected.
Yeah, no, I was very impressed with us defensively last night. Post defense is a team game. It starts with ball pressure, extending catches. We did that. But Horace Spencer and Anthony McLemore, Deshaun Murray, and Chuma Kiki fighting in the post, fighting the front, you know, rallying to block shots and be physical without fouling. They did a masterful job. We got a lot of deflections, and they turned the ball over a lot trying to get into the post. So it was very impressive. I think the other thing that was impressive was our guard play. We did a great job on Geis. We did a great job on number 3, Robertson or Richardson, I apologize. And he's a great player. That said, you know, Tremont Waters is going to be one of the toughest covers that we're going to have. But I thought our team, I thought Mustafa Heron was active, aggressive. He was going up, he had a tough matchup in Barnett. He wasn't always on Barnett when Barnett knocked down shots. But I thought Mustafa really picked up his defense, created some steals, some turnovers, and got us going.
Is Bryce okay at the end of the game? He had a collusion.
I don't know. I think he's okay. Tweaked his ankle, got kind of landed on after we had a turnover, and I had the luxury of not having to put him out there for those last 2 minutes. So I don't know how he is yet today. I think he'll be okay.
Bruce, the numbers are better for Jared, obviously, but just compared to last year, how much better is he now than he was, you know, at this time a year ago?
He's better. Pound for pound, Jared's our strongest player. Pound for pound. When he goes in the weight room, pound for pound, he's our strongest player. He's challenged by Anthony, he's challenged by Horace and Bryce and the other guys, but pound for pound, he's our strongest player. When Jared came in as a freshman last year, he was competing with Ronnie Johnson for playing time. Even though he started every game, when Ronnie scored, and Ronnie was a scoring point guard, when Ronnie scored, there were times I let Ronnie stay out there a little bit longer. I lengthened his rotation because he was playing well, he was scoring. And I think I sent Jared a message that the way that you stay on the floor is to score. That's not the way to stay on the floor. That's why Jared was always a starter. The way for Ronnie to stay on the floor was when he played well, he was scoring, and sometimes you'd let him go. So Jared felt like, I think, that that's what he needed to do, to be identified with. He's identifying himself completely with winning now, which means he has to be engaged defensively. Jared can defend, but it's not always at the top of his list, but he really can defend. He understands that. He is getting guys shots in ball screens, and much like Waters does, as well as he knows he's dangerous in those screens himself. Jared's a very intelligent player. He's a very, very intelligent player. He challenges my thinking a lot, and I really am grateful for that. So we're 18-2 because Jared Harper is a better player, and he's worrying about that number more than any other number.
Stylistically, in scouting numbers, how different is this compared to, I mean, it seemed like under Johnny that they were kind of built from the inside out, and this seems like a very different construction of the LSU team.
Yeah, they can really shoot it. They got 4 or 5 guys out there that can shoot it. Like, they can play a stretch 5-man that can shoot it. They spread the floor. Everything boils down to ball screen because they've got Waters now. And you know, again, Will is a very creative offensive guru type. He's good, and so they do good stuff that puts you in, you know, difficult advantage, disadvantage situations. So offensively, they're built around Waters and ball screen, and defensively, they're built with their length because they're still really long. Like they defend the 3-ball really well. And it's not necessarily because there's so much their schemes defensively, as they got, with the exception of Waters, they got great length at every position. They got big guards, long wings, and they've got some real length on the front line.
Bruce, how much is this team taking to scouting reports? And I know that sounds like a small thing, but to go back to the Missouri game, you pressed on them, you got to make them go left, got to make them go left. And it seemed like last year they would be like, well, yeah, okay, coach told us to go back and stop them going right too.
Yeah.
Every time they went left, you got to stop. It seemed like.
No, they're locked in. They definitely are. And you know, we try to keep things consistent. And what you got to do in a scout is you got to paint a picture. for them to figure out how we can beat this team. And it's a different picture every night because these teams. So my wife asks me all the time. She goes, and she's amazing because we don't see each other in the season at all. I come in late and I'm usually out before she wakes up, and God bless her. God bless coaches' wives. But she asked me an interesting question the other night. She goes, you know, why do you have to watch all this tape? I mean, you've been coaching for how many years? You know, you've seen pretty much everything there is to see. And part of it is, you know, honey, there might be something else that I pick up in a game by watching this extra game, this extra tape. That could be the difference in a tight ball game. And yes, we have this package of offense and defense. But if not properly applied to the strengths and weaknesses of our opponent, it won't matter. So we've really got to study what their strengths and weaknesses are if they have any. And we've got to be able to game plan and go to them. And then the big picture is showing it and selling it to your team so they see themselves a road to victory through that scouting report. And that's why it's important.